Welcome back. This is the Foundry by Forge College. So today is the day we are finally tackling the grand finale of our capstone project. In this explainer, we're diving deep into the final assembly and deliverable for a composable contract system. Think of this whole process like taking a high-stakes master blueprint, the kind meticulously sketched out in dark green and orange ink on crisp drafting paper, and actually turning it into a fully functioning, unstoppable machine. We've built all the individual gears, right? And now we put the whole shebang together. In the Web3 space, getting this final assembly right is, well, it's absolutely critical. A sloppy assembly doesn't just mean a glitchy app. We're talking drained funds, compromised security, and a permanently broken protocol. The stakes literally couldn't be higher. So let's make sure our machine is flawless.
Okay, let's just dive right into the schematic overview for today. We'll kick things off with the capstone finale, then we'll move into gathering your components. After that, it's onto the assembly line, followed by some strict quality control verification, and we'll wrap it all up by boxing up the final artifact.
All right, part 1, the capstone finale, synthesizing the build.
Now, if you were with us for the previous lesson, finalizing the capstone audit report, you'll remember we spent a ton of time on theoretical safety checks and architectural audits. Well, today we step away from the chalkboard and walk right up to the physical workbench. Composable system assembly isn't just throwing code together and hoping it compiles. Not at all. It defines our entire mission. We are synthesizing absolutely everything. The architecture, the integration plans, debugging resolutions, the documentation, all of it goes into a single deployable project directory. All those individual smart contract gears you've been meticulously crafting throughout the Solidity and Ethereum Quest stack, they are about to become one premium, synchronized, functioning machine. This is the exact moment all that theory becomes a tangible reality.
Let's move on to section 2, gathering your components. You'd never try to build a high-performance engine by just reaching blindly into a messy pile of parts, right? Of course not. You pull together the architecture, the finalized code, the manuals, and you lay them all out. This project directory structure is exactly what our organized workbench should look like. Think of these folders as your hardware bins. You need your contracts folder for those finalized interfaces. Your scripts folder is going to hold the integration scaffold in your end-to-end scenarios. Then there's the test folder that's got all your patched unit and integration tests. Your docs folder holds the documentation pack and checklists. And finally, the artifacts folder, which basically catches all your compiled outputs and JSON logs. Seriously, if your workspace doesn't look like this, you need to stop and organize it before going any further. I mean, if a reviewer has to hunt around just to find your deployment scripts, they're already doubting the security of your code before they even read line 1.
So the really crucial point here is understanding the massive mental shift we're making today. It's a huge pivot. On one side of the bench, we've got exploratory debugging. You know the drill. That's the messy tinkering. Poking around in the dark, fixing bugs on the fly, and just kind of crossing your fingers when you hit compile. That was yesterday. Today, we're operating entirely in the realm of reproducible verification. This is where we demand strict, repeatable, end-to-end scenarios. We are no longer guessing. We're no longer hoping. We are building a machine that proves it works the exact same way every single time you hit the start button. It really is the difference between being a hobbyist tinkerer and a true master builder.
Which brings us to section 3, the assembly line. This is where we grab the torque wrench, start tightening the bolts, and apply that crucial integration glue. Now, this integration glue, it is the absolute secret sauce of a composable contract system. Let's actually break down what that means in practice. First up, you have to swap out any mock adapters for your real live interaction flows. Second, you must add explicit await.tx.wait statements. This part is absolutely critical. Remember, the blockchain doesn't process things instantly. Without those explicit waits, your script is just firing commands into the void before the network has even confirmed the previous step. What does that give you? Bizarre timing bugs and completely loose connections. Not good. You have to tell your script to pause and wait for the blockchain to catch up. And third, you need to implement structured JSON logging. We do not want messy, unreadable terminal outputs. We want a clean, deterministic log that proves exactly what happened, step by step, timestamp by timestamp.
Let's read through the literal instruction manual for this assembly line. Step 1, npx hard-hot compile. That gets your artifacts ready and ensures your code translates perfectly into bytecode. Step 2, npx hard-hot run --network localhost scripts/deploy.js. This sets up your local deterministic test node and deploys the contracts exactly as they'd behave in the wild. Step 3, note scripts/run-scenarios.js. This executes the precise scenarios you mapped out to validate the logic flow. And finally, step 4, npx hard-hot test. That runs your entire automated test suite to ensure nothing broke during the assembly process. You execute these commands in this exact specific order every single time. It creates this beautifully predictable, unstoppable rhythm. And hey, here's a quick pro tip for you. Lean into AI-assisted iteration to perfect that integration glue. You can literally drop a prompt like this directly into your AI tool of choice. Given the function run composite flow, refactor to improve deterministic weights, add structured logging to produce a JSON trace, and keep the behavior identical. Just let the AI help you tighten those bolts. It's highly encouraged because it ensures your logs are perfectly structured and your weights are rock solid, all without you having to manually rewrite lines and lines of tedious boilerplate code. Honestly, it's all about working smarter so you can build safer. Moving right along to section 4, quality control verification.
Okay, so the machine is assembled, the gears are turning, but hold on. We are definitely not shipping this yet. We've all been there, right? You spend 3 hours assembling this incredibly complex bookshelf. You finally step back to admire your handiwork, and then you look down and notice 4 mysterious screws just sitting there on the floor. Instant panic. Well, in the realm of smart contracts, those leftover screws are unhandled errors or reverted transactions. And in Web3, a leftover screw doesn't just mean a wobbly shelf that might drop some books. It means a fundamentally broken, compromised financial system that drops user assets. Yeah, so we have to verify absolutely everything.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly how we check for those leftover screws. For the acceptance criterion of composable interactions verified, the verification command is running your scenario scripts, and the expected evidence is a clean JSON log of sequentially ordered events. For no unhandled errors, you're running your integration tests and you demand an exit status of 0 with absolutely 0 stacked traces. None. And for the automated test suite passes criterion, you run your hard hat test command and you expect a fully green, pristine tap or mocha report. You map your acceptance criteria directly to concrete, undeniable evidence. There's simply no room for maybe here. But here is the ultimate, absolute final test, fresh cloned reproducibility. I mean, the single most dreaded phrase in software engineering is, well, it works on my machine. That does not fly here. A master builder's blueprint must work perfectly for anyone else who tries to follow it, period. A reviewer must be able to clone your repository into a completely blank, fresh environment, type the commands exactly as they're written in your README file, and get the exact same deterministic outputs and logs. That is the gold standard. If it only works on your specific laptop with your specific hidden configurations, then it is entirely broken. Which brings us to our last step, section 5, the final artifact. This is where we prep the product for shipment. We've built it, we've meticulously verified it, and now we ensure absolutely every single piece is accounted for in the box before we hand it off to the reviewer. Your final deliverable.zip is essentially your packing slip. It must include your compiled contract ABIs and bytecode. It must include all your deployment and integration scripts. It absolutely must include your recorded deterministic test logs in JSON format. And of course, it needs your README file with pinned tool versions so the reviewer knows exactly which versions of Node or Solidity to use. You miss even one of these components and I guarantee you the package gets rejected at the door. Actually, I want to pause here for just a second because mastering this exact level of rigorous, reproducible engineering discipline, that is exactly what the advanced Web3 learning programs at Forge College are all about. It's not just about writing a smart contract that barely functions on a good day. It's about engineering a robust system that can be audited, verified, and deployed with absolute, ironclad confidence in the real world. This process right here is what separates the amateurs from the professionals. It's the mindset that builds incredibly resilient, decentralized ecosystems. So let's quickly summarize the 3 core takeaways from today to make sure your final assembly is completely bulletproof. Step 1. Design explicit, minimal interfaces so your cross-contract interactions are fully auditable right out of the gate. Step 2. Instrument your scripts with structured logging and deterministic weights so your event traces are 100% reproducible. And Step 3. Document the exact toolchain and commands so a reviewer can repeat your success in a fresh environment without any guesswork. If you follow this timeline and really internalize these steps, you've got a world-class system ready for the real world. Now, before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a bit of a provocative question. Your final artifact is verifiable manually today, but how are you going to automate these checks in a continuous pipeline tomorrow?
That is exactly where we're heading in the next module on testing pipeline fundamentals, taking all this manual perfection and fully automating it for CI/CD. To keep building on what you've learned here, definitely head over to forge.college to explore more about this subject and dive deeper into other incredible Web3 topics. Thanks so much for walking through this explainer with me, and I will see you in the next